Okay, so let's just start standing nice and tall here. I'm going to pull my hands interlaced behind my back. You don't have to do that. You can place them on your hips if you prefer. We're going to stand nice and tall. Just get a little head motion going. So we're going to let it go to one side, back to the center, and the other. I know I do this pretty much every time, but really, it's good for about a zillion reasons. Good, and we're just matching our breath here a little bit. It's not, anything super scientific on that part. Just I usually inhale, exhale, back to the center, other way, exhale. And let's go to the side one more time. And we'll do our little nods. We're going to tuck our chin as we exhale, make lots of double chins, and then look up towards the sky or ceiling. And then exhale, double chins. Inhale, look up. And again, exhale, double chins. Inhale, look up. And one more time. And up. Good. I'm just going to position my little stuff a little different here. All right. Let's start with our hands in front. And we're going to just pull back an elbow, pull it back and follow it with your eyes. Bring them back together, pull it other side back, follow with your eyes. Good. Really intentional about the movement, pulling it back, using all those muscles, getting a twist through our upper torso. Good. And one more on the other side. Good. Now let's bring those arms out to the side, little circles here. Get our shoulders woken up. Good. Take them back the other way. Good. Now let's reach it overhead. Take hold of one wrist with your other hand and give it a little pull. Pull it as far as feels good for you. Good. And hold and breathe, and then bring it back up. Switch the wrist that you're holding and pull the other way. Good. You should be feeling a nice stretch in the side of the body here. Not painful, but definitely feeling something. Straighten it back up, shake it all out. Now we're going to interlace our fingers here and have them close to our chin. We're going to keep our palms together through this. Now we're going to bring it around our head. I'm going to try not to hit the microphone. And we're going to keep it really close to our head. It should be pretty much messing up your hair. And I just separated my palms after I told you not to. Let's try it again. Around. Good. This is another one that's good for the shoulders. And one more time. Good. Okay. I'm sure my hair is even corkier now. Let's come down in a nice wide, like horse pose. So what that is toes are kind of pointing outward-ish. And we're low down here. The depth doesn't really matter. Just low for you, feeling a challenge. Weights in our heels mostly. So we're just starting here. I'm going to have my hands at my chest. If that's comfortable for you, you can try that. And then pull the shoulders down and back. And we're just going to get a little wobble here, back and forth, waking up some muscles. Good. You can adjust your stance a little as you're doing these. You might find you want your feet out another little inch, or adjust the angle that your toes are aiming out. Okay, good. Come back to the center. Now we're going to add a little twist here. So we're going to push it across, and we're going to push it across. And we're staying fairly low. You can come up a little bit as you push to the side, but still pretty low. Good. Good. Let's push across one more time. Come up, let those legs wiggle. I'm not moving my legs yet out of their position because we're going to come back to that. So back down into that, and we're going to get our little cactus arms. So we're making like, I don't know, an X, I guess, or I don't know what this is. And then we're going to come up to a tall X and then back down. Good. And tall and back down and tall and back down. Now, if you want to take it up a notch, you can try and lift the heels up on your toes here as you do it. That one's harder. Good. Whoop. And up tall. Good. Good, and let's do one more. All right, now let's walk it in. Good. Wiggle those legs out. They might be talking to you already. Okay, so we're going to use our chair here. We're actually going to come in front of it. And we're going to practice some lovely squats. The reason we're using the chair is because a lot of times we actually do have the capability of squatting lower than we do, and we don't, because somewhere in our brain, we're convinced that we're going to fall. So now we have a chair behind us. So I want you to reach your hands in front and you're a few inches in front of your chair, and we're going to come down, 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 like you're going to sit in your chair, but stop before you get there. Hold, and then come up. Good. If you need to adjust, if you need to feel more secure by being just a little closer to your chair, that's fine. So we're going to sit back almost to our chair, almost, and then come up. Good. Here we go again. Almost. Good. And again. So we are practicing sitting with our weight back in our heels because we know we're not going to fall backwards. If we do, we've got a nice little chair to catch us. Good. And again. And this time, I want you to just go to the point that you feel the chair, but your weight isn't there. Then hold. Then come up. Good. Let's do that again. We're going to come down, just find the chair, no weight on it, and come back up. Doing great. Reaching back for the chair, not shifting our weight, and come back up. And let's do that 2 more times. Reaching back for it, touching, holding, not sitting, and back up. And then 1 more. Reach it back, find it, hold right there. Good. And back up. Good. Wiggle them around. Then we're going to have a seat. We're just going to sit sort of on the front of our chair. We're going to bring arms out. Let's see what's the best way for me to angle here. Arms are going to be out kind of like little goalposts here. And we're going to try and keep our torso tall as we do this. We're going to bring it across. And the goal here is to touch the knee to the elbow while keeping our torso tall. So this is a good core exercise, but another reason that we do this is it's a cross-body exercise. And anytime we're crossing our midline with our parts, it does good things for our brain. Even going for a walk, that motion, if we're doing it well, which is tall, not looking at our feet, looking ahead where we're going, swinging our arms, that's a nice good walk. That does amazing things for our brain. Good. We're going to do 2 more here. Good. All right. Now we're going to stand it up. And this time I'm going to have my chair where I can just put my hand on it if we want to. I'm going to start with my weight on one foot, and I'm going to just swing the other foot. So the leg is straight. I'm standing tall, and I'm going to get a little bigger swing and a little bigger swing. Again, big is relative, so what feels big to you is what we're going for. If you can do it without holding on, that's super. But if you need to hold on, that's awesome too. Okay, we're going to take it down, slow little swings, and we're going to switch to the other foot. Starting with a little swing, like a little pendulum, and we'll get it going bigger. Good. If you don't need to hold on to your chair, you can get the arms swinging too. Or you can keep one arm swinging. Good, and bring that back down. Switching to the other leg again. Little swing. Speaking of going for walks, this is a great little warm up if you walk or run. Good. And bring it down, and other leg again. Good. All right, sort of similar. It's not really similar, but we are going to have our weight on one foot. We're going to lift our knee, and then we're going to straighten that leg as much as we can. Bend, put it back down. Other side, we're going to lift the knee, straighten as much as we can, bend, and back down. Hand on the chair if you need to. I'd much rather you feel stable. If you are trying to do this and you're very wobbly, you're not going to be doing it really well. So go for doing it well. And our goal is to have that knee pretty high and then be able to straighten. Now you may have to keep it a little lower in order to straighten. That's okay. But that's the goal, to lift the knee, straighten, bend, down. So some of this is coordination. Some of this is working on this quad and also strengthening our hip flexors. Good. We're going to do one more on each leg. And our last one here. Good. Okay, now we're going to come to a split stance. You can move your chair a little bit if you need to. Keep it nearby in case you need it. All right, so split stance. We can keep our feet a little bit wider if we need to for like more stability, or keep them fairly lined up. Little bend in both knees is where we're starting. And then, woo. All right, we're going to start right here. I got hands on my hips. If that feels good for you, try that. Now we're going to bring them out to the side. Good. And we're just going to bring them up high. Where legs are staying where they are right now. And then we're going to bring arms down again. Arms come up. Little fingertips can touch in the middle. And bring it back down. Good. Legs are holding, doing lots of work just being in this position. Good. All right, let's switch the legs. Good. So lining up as in line or wide as you need to. And then we'll bend in both the knees. Okay. So arms out to our sides. Then bring them up tall. Out to the side. Good. And tall. And side. And fingertips together. And sides. Good. All right. Stand it up, wiggle them out. And then we're going to do a very similar version. So again, split stance, whatever width you need. Do try though, however wide you are, to have your front toes facing forward and the knee is lined up pretty much like, so if it goes forward, it's going to track over your toes. All right. And then if your other one needs to be out a little wider, that's totally fine. All right. So we're going to start with no, we're not. We're going to start with our hands at our hips. And then we're going to reach one arm up. Then we're going to reach the other arm up. So with this, we're just getting a little bit of a weight shift. So our leg muscles are still working. And then with the weight shift, that's challenging our balance, which is working our brain, which is also working more muscles. Good. Let's switch the legs. Find our nice little position here. And again, in any of this, stick your hand on your chair if you need to. Good. So hands starting at our hips. We're going to reach up. Really reach it high. Stretch it up there. Good. All right, stand it up. Wiggle those legs out. Good job. All right, and now we're just marching. Whatever pace you feel like here. And then whatever pace you're at, we're just going to pick it up a little faster. Good. Still marching, just a little faster. Then, if you can go a little faster than that, again, the faster is all relative. So just faster than you normally would. And then, if it feels good, you can go a little faster. Good. Then slow it down just a little. So not slow, but slower than you were. And then a little slower, maybe get those knees up again. Good. And then we're going to go with that just another time. So we'll speed it up a little bit. And then we'll speed it up more. And then if you feel comfortable, a little bit more. Good. And gradually slow it back down. Good. Okay. Now we're going to do our super fun little chair squats again. So find your position where you can be in front of your chair. And you don't have to be far in front, but you don't want to have your legs all the way squished up against it. So just a couple of inches in front. All right, so we're going to sit it back. And this time we're just going to touch and come right back up. We're not doing that hold. We're going to touch, not shift our weight, come right back up. So just finding the chair each time. So we're sitting back, really make an effort to keep weight in our heels. Doing great. Good. Now this one, we're going to pause. We're going to touch it and we're going to hold and then come up. We're going to do it a couple more times. We're going to come down, find the chair with our hiney, hold, 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 and come up. Again, hold, 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 and back up. 2 more times. Hold, 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 and back up. And 1 more. Find the chair, hold, smile, and come back up. Good. All right, now have a little seat, little cross bodies again. So I'm doing a different angle this time. Arms are out to our side. We're going to tap that knee to our ankle. Messed up my body parts. Elbow to knee. You can go slower if you want. I am realizing that leggings on a wooden chair are slidey. So I got to readjust to the front again. Good. Just 2 more. All right, stand it back up. We're going to do our little swings, our little single leg swings again with a hand on the chair or not. So starting, weight on 1 foot, little swing, and get that swing as high as feels okay for you. Good. Good. Plant it. Let the other side start swinging. Sometimes my brain gets ahead of my mouth. Good. And plant it. 1 more time on the other foot. Good. And plant that one. 1 more on that second foot. Awesome. All right, come to our split stance again. We're going to start with our hands at our chest. We're going to do this just a little bit differently than last time. So we're still going to keep the legs where they are. Hands are right here at the chest. Now, in order to twist, we're going to try and keep hips and below in place. And we're going to twist just from the waist up. If you don't go very far, that's fine. Working to keep hips and below in place. Good. And we are remembering to breathe. Whoop. Hand on your chair if you need it. Good. We're going to twist both ways one more time. Back to center. Good. Stand it up. Shake out those legs. They might be talking to you. And split stance on the other side. Good. So hands back to the chest, palms pressed together. And we're going to twist. Whoop. Just from the waist up. And twist. Good. Wobbles are okay. Good. One more each way. All right. Stand it up. I'm just going to grab a quick little sip of my water. Feel free to do the same. Okay. Now, we don't really need our chair at the moment for this one. We're going to come down in a little bit of a squat, and we're going to reach our hands behind us, like little airplane arms. So we're there flying back behind. So our shoulders are pulling back and opening the chest. And then we're going to sweep those arms up high. So come down, reach behind and back, and swoop everything up high. And swoop. So an exercise like this, obviously we're working our legs. But the reason this helps us with our balance is because the stronger we are, even if we're not practicing on just one foot, the better. And swoop. And one more pull back here. Really get those arms flying back and swoop it on up. Okay, so now we do need our chair again. And if this feels too low for you to do this, you can try a countertop or something, but what we're going to do is just a little plank in the chair. So we're going to have our hands in the chair. We're going to walk our feet back. All right, and so the goal is that we are a straight line from our shoulder down to our heels. We are engaging our abs here, and we're squeezing our booty. If you're doing a plank right, it works almost everything. Okay, so we are going to hold this. We're going to remember to breathe, even though we're squeezing our abs and our glutes. Good. And now we're going to add a little march. So we're going to bring a knee up, replace it back. Knee up, replace it back. This is a slow movement. It's working our core. It's also working our legs. And every time we lift one leg, we're forcing the other side to work a little harder, and therefore working on our balance. Good. You're doing super. We're going to do 2 more little lifts here, little marches. Good. And then walk those feet in and stand it up. So it's basically a slow mountain climber with an incline. All right. I'm getting this out of my way a little bit again. So we're going to step to the side. No, we're not. We're going to step over to start with. Step over. So this is like stepping over a hurdle, or the example I always use is my dog in the kitchen. I have big dogs, so I have to step high. Good. Good, 2 more here. And now we're going to do our little step and then lift to just find our balance. So if that feels too wobbly, you can either have your chair close by, or you can keep the toe touching, but you're keeping the weight on one foot. So then we shift to the other side. Toe can be touching, but we're shifting. And so there's a lot of range of possibility here that you can adjust to challenge yourself. So it can just be a little step and just a little hover, step and hover. And this is great right here. If you want to take it a little more advanced, you can add a little hop and lift that leg higher. Actually get a little lift. And of course, you could make it big if you really wanted to. Whoop, depending on how much room you got. Good. And the other way to make a little more challenge is higher with the leg when you bring it up. Good. So again, you don't have to have a hop. You can keep it completely low impact, no impact. And you can keep the toe touching the ground if you want. Woo! We're going to go 2 more. Good. All right. We're going to come to our little airplane arms again. So we're going to squat. We're going to pull our little airplane arms back, open up the chest, reach those fingertips out behind you, and then swoop everything up tall. Bring it back to those airplane arms. See if you can get maybe a little lower in your squat. Pull them back, 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 and swoop it on up high. And again, reaching those airplane arms back. And up high. Good. And swoop it back. And reach it up. And swoop it back. Really make an effort to sit back in your heels. You could experiment with going a little lower and really reaching back. And then swoop it up. Reach for the sky. And again into that airplane. Breathing. And swoop it on up. All right, shake them out. We're gonna do our little plank and our little mountain climber one more time. You got this. So, hands planted firmly on your surface. Walking the feet out. So little reminders, we want to try not to have our hiney in the air like this, but we also don't want to do this. That's not good for your back. So going for a straight line, squeezing glutes, quads, and abs. And ideally, having your shoulders somewhat lined up over your wrists here. So find your position here. Get feeling stable before we start marching anything. Squeezing all the pertinent parts. And then add your march, nice and slow. Mountain climbers can also be done really fast, but that's a different goal. That's more of, still works the core, but it's more of a get your heart rate up. Whereas this, we're working on the muscles, we're working on the balance. If it does not feel stable enough to have the pause at the top, you don't have to do that, but give it a try. And again, if this feels too hard, you probably need a higher incline. So that's where a counter, coffee table, something like that might come in handy. One more each leg. Good. Walk those feet back up and stand it up. Good job. Shake it out. Okay. Let's do our little step overs. Our little step over the dog or whatever. My son got he's got a couple of Christmas presents from family already. He got another assorted box of weird Lego parts, so he's got more things to build. That's what this is making me think of, is I make him keep all the Legos in his room because they are like death to feet. Good. All right. Now our little hops or steps. So again, the no impact version is step, slide, step, just let the toe hover. Or the bigger version, little hop, lift that leg. Whoop. Good deal. as big or small as you want to make this. And just 2 more. All right. Shake things out. We're going to do some stretching. So we're going to take a foot back. We're going to reach back here. And we're going to aim to press that heel down to the ground behind us. And we're letting the front knee track over our toes here. And we can start with our hands on our thigh. So we're aiming again to get this heel, might not actually touch, that's fine. But the intention is that you're pushing the heel down towards the ground. You should be feeling some stretch in the back of the leg. And again, like we always do when we have our knee bending in this direction, it doesn't matter so much how far it goes, but we don't want it to cave in. So we want it to track kind of over like the 3rd and 4th toes, ideally. We're going to hold right here. And then if you'd like, you can add an arm on the same side that your leg is back leg. There we go. And we're going to reach. And then we can stand it up, wiggle everything around, and then go for the other side. So pressing that heel down towards the ground, letting our front knee bend over our toes, however far that feels good. And again, pushing the whole time down with the heel. Hands start right here on our thighs. If this feels wobbly, you can always put a hand on your chair instead of on your thigh. Good. And then if you want to add that arm on the same side as the back leg. And hold and really stretch, reaching the fingers forward, reaching that heel back. Good. Stand it on up. We're going to take a slightly wide stance. And we're going to put our hands right here, our little hip crease. Push it back because we're just going to fold right here. So take it as far as feels good. This again should give you some stretch in the back of your legs. You can keep your hands on your thighs. I usually like that version best. Now we're not arching our back here. I'm gonna go sideways. So we have just hinged and our back is not doing this. If it wants to do that, just don't go as far. Okay, and then if you want to, you can try reaching the arms forward, kind of forward and up. Okay, and then stand it up. And then we'll do it again. So we're just gonna push our hip creases back. Find where you're feeling your hamstrings. Might be feeling other parts as well. And then either hang here, hands on thighs, or hands up and in front, if that feels good. You're the only you there is. I think there's a Dr. Seuss book about that. So you know what feels best in your body. One more time here. We're going to fold it forward. Find that stretch. And then either hang here or try bringing the arms in front. Good. All right, so now we're going to move to our chair, have a seat in it. Good. And we're going to be kind of on the front-ish edge here. So we're going to start with a nice tall stance. We're going to bring our head up towards the ceiling as much as we can. All right. And then let's reach one side really high and the other. Then we're going to do it a little slower. So what we're going to do actually is try and, depending on what your chair looks like, but take hold of one side if that's possible. Reach that arm up and then give it a little bend. You know, don't go so far that you fall out of your chair. Good. And then come up tall and let's switch and do that with the other side. So I'm taking hold of my chair, reaching it up high and reaching across. Good. Now coming up tall again, readjust the hands and we're going to get a little twist. So if your chair has a back, that might make it easier, but put one hand on the opposite thigh And we're just going for a twist here through the torso. And we're going to hold for a few seconds here. Release. And let's do it on the other side. And we're going to hold. We're remembering to breathe all the time here. Good. Come back to the center. We're going to do it again. And then you might see if you can look over that back shoulder, or at least in the general vicinity. Kind of like, well, this is the wrong side, but like, unless we're in England. Anyway, like you're going to back up your car. Release. Turn it around. Aiming to look over that shoulder. Good. Okay. So now this one's a little bit different than the lifts that we've done. I'm going to turn sideways a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to put our hands right, not quite at our waist. It's going to come down like fingers, I guess, are kind of on the top of your glutes, and hands, like the palm of your hand, maybe kind of on the top of your hips-ish. Anyway, and then we're just going to lift. We're going to sit really tall, and we're going to lift a knee and lower. Same leg, lift, hold, and lower. So we are having our hands back here partly so that we work on being nice and tall. We're trying to pull our shoulders back and down. And we're also working to feel some of these muscles that are working when we're doing this. This works a surprising number of muscles for a little movement. We're going to lift that knee again and hold and lower. Good. Lift and lower. One more time. Lift, give it a little pause, and lower. All right, same thing with your body, nice and tall, hands still in that position. And we're going to lift the other leg. Hold that knee and lower. Lift, pause, and lower. Nice and tall, staying tall. Good. Lift and hold, and lower. You're doing great. Good. Lift and hold. And then we're just going to do one more of these on this leg. Good. All right, so now let's bring that heel out in front. And we're going to reach forward. We have our heel on the floor, toes going towards the ceiling. And then we're going to reach forward. Good. Get a little stretch. Mostly should be feeling it back in here. And just thinking about bringing the toes more towards your shin. Good. Sit it up. Other foot out. Toes towards the ceiling and then in towards your shin. Reach it forward. Good. Hold, hold. And come up tall. And then just a little ankle mobility. So leg comes out. You can always support it underneath if that feels good. And then point and flex. Point and flex. Getting those ankles moving. And then some rotation. And the other way. Good. Plant that foot. Bring that other one out. Again, support it underneath if you want. Point and flex. Good. And rotate. And the other way. And then plant it down. And then just a little hands at our heart here. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths. Inhale. Think about filling our belly as we do. And we're going to exhale. Pulling the shoulders down and back. Not letting them creep up by our ears, which is what a lot of times we tend to do when we get tense. And release. Good. Nice big inhale again, filling that belly. And release. Good. Shake out the arms. And you did great today. Thanks for joining me. I hope your week is wonderful, and same time, same